Hello, everybody. Welcome to Townsend 505, or welcome back if you're a lovely viewer. Today, me and Jason, the old millennial, we're going to be reviewing their seventh studio album, the Kinks, author of the Decline and Fall of the British Empire. Uh, Jason, you have any thoughts or feelings before you want to review this thing?
Yeah, this is a very interesting album. I think much different than any of the albums they've done before up to this point. I guess to me, because listening to it, it's like it has a World War II theme to me.
Uh
They
huh.
definitely are hitting World War II. I think
They are.
war in general, but I'm gonna say World War II because
Yeah, that's the big thing because there's a certain song that
yeah,
names the British guy.
yeah, yeah. So it's interesting when I was listening to it. It's the first time I really listened to the Kinks, and I kind of was like, okay, I get the concept idea behind here because each song kind of not every song, but there's a lot of songs that kind of at least I can tell like okay, this definitely has a war theme to it. They're definitely that's the subject matter of these songs. So it's yeah, so I found it very interesting. Like I know I think the last album was supposed to be a concept album, but I didn't really, pay attention that much to it. But this one, I definitely paid attention. I was like, I really, read the lyrics as I was listening to each song because I really wanted to pay attention to the lyrics on this album. As I was listening to it, I was like, oh, I need to read these lyrics because I think they're very intentionally. The lyrics are very intentional, towards the theme of the album. Anyway, so for the most part, some of them I don't know if it fits the album necessarily, but definitely there's some songs there that are definitely playing that theme. So it was very interesting listening to this album, going, "Huh, this is feels different," in a sense to me. But yeah,
My thoughts on this. This is my second favorite Kinks album. Such an amazing album. This I think this was the third and last album from the '60s essential album list that I had Jason write down. Uh, for me, good reason. This album's amazing. To me, it's like everything you want in a Kinks album. You got the Britishness of it, plus you got
hmm
just some really catchy songs in it once in a while. This is my sixth favorite album of all time. So I have a lot of great things to say about this album. I won't say this is a step down from the Village Green, but maybe you might think that, but I don't think it's a step down. I
no, no,
like it's a step up, but like I just personally like the previous album better. Uh, going that saying that first song on the album is a song called Victoria.
yeah, Victoria, another really good opener. I feel like the last several albums I've said this. One of my favorite songs is the opener to these albums, so that's always good. I always think you need a good opener to an album, so I always think that's a good idea to hit you with a good song to really set the tone of the album.
Hmm.
And I like a nice catchy song or a nice rock song, like, and I think this fits kind of in that catchy. It's one of the catchier songs on the album, I would say. Um, I think the chorus, like the Victoria, Victoria, like when they sing the Victoria part, like I really
Hmm.
like that part. I think that's really good. I think, I guess I'll start with this song. I'll say throughout the album, I think the instrumentation, I think is like really good on the album. Like I thought better than I think any of the other albums. To be honest, I really paid attention to the drumming. I thought the drumming was really good throughout the whole album, including this song. I really noticed it. And when I say drumming, I mean I don't know if I'm not saying it's like Keith Moon,
Oh yeah.
Neil Peart drumming, but still, I noticed it. I was like, oh, I really noticed the drumming was like noticeably good, and also there's a good guitar solo in this album. I thought, or this song, that I kind of noticed the guitar. I thought the guitar work was actually pretty good throughout the album, and this song particularly, and even the bass. And I love the. I guess we'll get into other, but I feel like they really stepped it up instrumentally through this whole album, and starting with this song because they add a lot of horns throughout the album, which I like that. I love the addition of horns throughout and piano, and so yeah, really good start to the album, anyways.
I agree with you. This song is so good. You know, the chorus gets stuck in your head right away.
Uh,
Victoria,
Victoria, yeah,
Victoria, Victoria, Victoria. I love the part where it's like, when the thoughts in the Gloria, and the thoughts in Gloria. Victoria. Bum 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 bum. And this is actually fun fact. Well, there's actually two things going into this album. This is their first album without their bassist. This is the
Okay.
first album that's not with their original lineup. Peter Quaife leaves the band because they're doing very poor uh, sales wise, and
Hmm.
this goes into the second fun fact. This is actually going to be a movie called, like, actually, no, I don't think a movie, but a play called Arthur. And uh, I don't have the gatefolds in there right now, but it's about a kangaroo. It's like a
Oh,
fun story, and
okay.
basically this is like the main character loves England. Victoria is like basically like their love of England. Everything starts out great. It starts out peachy, and this is like the beginning song, and it's supposed to be like all fun and like dandy and all that. And it's supposed to be like their love of England. I think it works perfectly as the beginning song.
Hmm. Yeah.
Next song on the album, Yes Sir, No Sir.
Yeah, definitely. This song definitely hits the military theme of the album when you get to it, because it's obviously like a officer talking to a drill sergeant or something, or a higher officer. The whole yes sir, no sir. Because in the army, everything is yes or no, and you have to do what they say, and so it's definitely playing to that, which I thought was interesting. I like the drums at the beginning. I thought it started really well, giving you definitely a military idea. I like the horns. Like I said, I really love the addition of the horns throughout the album. I noticed it more than the other albums. And then I kind of like the whole yes sir, no sir, something sir, like everything was something and sir. And I kind of liked it. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I like this whole theme idea. And then I want to say like midway or something, it totally changes. The song changes to a different song. It was very weird. I had to look. Did I switch songs? And I was like, no, I'm on the same song, but it kind of changed the melody or something. And the whole anyway. So that was kind of cool. I think they did a lot. They did that a lot in this album. In fact, where they would change up the melody throughout the song or something like that. So definitely had this like big concept idea to it that was interesting.
Yeah, I love the song too because it's like the beginning song. It's like I love England, but then like it's like yes sir, no sir. What do I do? So what do I do, sir? Where do I go, sir?
But yeah,
Like permission to speak, sir. Permission to
yeah.
breathe, sir. What do I say? How do I behave? Just great lyrics.
Hmm.
It's like showing like it's like shows like them like being like controlled by them, and it's crazy. And like I love the change up. I love it when they do that in this album when they change up. Uh, doesn't matter where you are.
Hmm.
It's just like this serious part, and then it's like bum 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 bum. It's like just forgot the one of the lyrics. Oh yeah, I found it. Give the scum a gun and make the big bugger fight, and be sure to have the deserter shot on sight.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. This shoots a
Love those
murder on
lyrics.
sight. Yeah.
If you're one of those people who like to digest and read the lyrics,
Hmm.
this song is ear candy for you in that case. It's just
Yeah.
great lyrics by the great Ray Davies. Love the storytelling, really.
Hmm.
One of my favorites. Next song on the album, Some Other Son.
All right. Now this is the song. Lyrically, I think it's the deepest song that they've written, and it's I think maybe lyrically the best song they've written. It's a very powerful. I thought a very powerful, deep song, and I was kind of blown away because I was watching looking at the lyrics and listening and going, holy cow! Like they really went there with the song. It's because it's very dark. It's a dark song, very sad song in a sense. And it's called Some Other Son. What it's referring to, of course, you don't know until you start listening to the song, is that it's talking about war and soldiers, and that when you're killing, I mean, because it's awful because you go to war and you have to kill some guy you don't know, and you have no beef with that guy, but his country tells him to kill you, your country tells you to kill him, so you kill the guy, and then you think, oh, that's some mother's son. That guy has a mother. And in that part, when you hear that, you're like, oh my God, that, it's kind of kills you when you think about it. Like, 'cause I've never been in the army, or I've never had to be in that situation before, but I know that's why soldiers come back with PTSD, and it just kills them. You have to go over there and kill people. And you think, gosh, that guy was, he had a mother, he had a father, he had this life, and now he's dead. I killed him. And that's why I said, meant like, it's so dark when you think about it. And it's very thought provoking, I think, interesting. And there's some great lyrics in here. I wish I would have wrote them down because I love the lyrics of the song. And one lyric I know said something like, all dead soldiers look the same. And I thought, oh man, that's
Yeah.
to me, that was a very profound lyric to go, oh my gosh, because I'm just imagining, battlefield, and there's all these dead soldiers, and what that would be like to have to look at all these dead soldiers, even if they're from the enemy, it'd still be like, it would affect you in a very, deep way, and if I had more lyrics, I would have read them, but I just remember that one was like really powerful to go, oh gosh, that's harsh, to think about, But anyways, I don't know if you have more to say about the lyrics because I thought they were great.
I thought they were amazing. This is I don't like I said with the last review, this album's so good I don't really have a top five. This is gonna be another episode where I'm just gonna be listing off songs I really like. This is definitely one of them because I love the ending lyrics. Some other son lies in the field, but in his mother's eyes he looks the same.
Yes, the great
As
line.
on the day he went away, they put his picture on the wall. They put flowers in the picture frame.
Mm,
Some other memory remains, and I'm like,
yeah,
that's the end of the song, and it's just like,
yeah. Oh,
whoa.
yeah, that's a great line. Yeah,
I love, and that lyric you mentioned too, like all the soldiers look the same. Uh, it stop. It stops his dream as he turns his head. As a second later, he is dead. Like these lyrics, you don't like when you look at the first album by the Kinks, you don't expect
oh
those lyrics from them.
no, yeah, this is so different from the first album. It's crazy. Yeah,
It's just, oh, love it so much, man. It's like here. It's like a good way of putting it. It's like hearing John Lennon singing "Twist and Shout" and "Please Please Me," and then hearing him sing about Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds on Sergeant Pepper's. It's like such a drastic difference in style and lyrics, and it amazes me.
yeah. So I'd
Yeah,
almost say I don't know if you have any more info on them. Like, is this kind of an anti-war type album or song
it
or?
is. Well, it was based off of like I said, this was going to be a soundtrack to that, and they like the people who were making the movie like kind of like changed their mind last minute. So they had the album, but like not the
Okay,
movie. So, but
okay,
yeah, like it was stuff that Ray Davies was strong about because
okay.
this
I
is
wondered.
another concept album. But like, yeah, this would have been cool to see a movie about this. Like, it would have been a goofy movie, but like the music itself is so serious and there's like so much going on to it. I know if you I know when you do the deep dive, you're probably going to be a lot more. You're probably going to do a lot more research on this album
Yeah,
because
yeah. I need to do more research on this album because it's very interesting.
Mhm.
The theme of it.
Yeah, I will say objectively, this definitely is their best album, like theme wise. It's like,
Hmm. Hmm.
or it's just like a serious topic, and they
Yeah,
do it.
very serious. Yeah.
They do it perfectly.
Uh-huh.
I don't even my favorite band of all time, The Who. I don't think Pete Townsend could have wrote lyrics like this on an anti-war album.
Hmm.
I think Ray Davies was the perfect person to write stuff like this about.
Yeah, I felt like this was almost like their Tommy or something in a sense. I don't know.
I agree with you. I agree. I get what you're talking about. It's definitely similar to that vein.
Yeah.
Next song on the album, Driving.
Driving. Yeah, so we go from Some Other Sun to this song, which is about, it feels like it's just about going out and driving and just not caring about the world or something like that, and just let's go for a drive or something. So I don't know what the connection is, but it's kind of interesting going from such a dark song to that to this, where it's a little more fun, a little more catchy. I think I like the chorus a lot again with the. I'm forgetting exactly how it goes, but it's like they really elongate the driving part. If I remember right, they're like drive and drive or something like that.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and how they sing the driving part, I like a lot. Again, I just thought the drums, guitar, bass was really great, and I think I noticed like a piano also in the background that I thought added a lot to it. I think so. Instrumentally, I thought it was really good. Again, yeah, again another I thought really solid, catchy song. Yeah.
Well, to put in perspective, the beginning lyric is, "It seems like all the world is fighting. They're all
Mhm.
even talking about a war. Let all
Yeah.
the Russians and the Chinese and the Spanish who they're fighting. The sun is shining." It's like their way of coping from all the
Yeah.
fighting and all that. It's like
Yeah.
their coping is to drive, and
Yeah.
some some people consider this to be the weakest song on the album. I
Oh,
get where
really?
they're coming from because like this is out of nowhere, especially after Some Other Sun. It does
Yeah.
come out of nowhere, but in my opinion, and I think you agree with me on this, this is a really good song.
No, it was a good one. Yeah.
Next song on the album, Brainwashed.
All right. Brainwashed. Interesting title, of course. You think of it. I think if I remember right, song is he's accusing somebody of being brainwashed, and I can't remember
Hmm.
exactly what, but it seems like it's almost like an attacking song to somebody that they're brainwashed or whatever.
Hmm.
And if you're talking about politics, people get brainwashed. I don't know. That's what I think about.
You're
And
right.
yeah, to a certain thought, and all this. My big thing with the song, I thought it was overall a pretty solid song. I think my favorite part is the guitar. It was a very heavy guitar, heavier
Mhm.
than any other song on this album. And I would say the heaviest guitar I've heard since like You Really Got Me and All Day and All the Night. So I was like, huh, that was cool. Like I like how they had that really heavy set guitar on there. It sounded really good. And again, I wrote down the horns. I like the horns on the song as well.
I think this song's really good. I love the line, "You look like a human being, but you don't have your mind of your own." I feel like that even that like I that's like today's standards too. It's like that today. I'm not gonna talk about how I feel about that, but I I relate. I know. Like I think when I ever hear those two lyrics, I'm like, yeah, I have an image of when I think of that. Like you're a human, but you don't really have a mind of your
You don't
own.
think, yeah, for
You
yourself.
don't
Yeah,
think for
yeah,
yourself.
yeah, yeah.
You could talk and you breathe, you could work, you could stitch and you sew, but you're brainwashed. Yes, you are. Yeah, get down on your knees. It's like you're brainwashed, and I love the part. It's like, yes, sir, you're just brainwashed. Ah, it's a great song, but I think the biggest highlight of the song is ba-dum, 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 bum, ba-dum. It's like, ah, every time I listen to that song, and when it ends, I'm like, it's only 2.5 minutes long, and I'm like,
Yeah, it's short. Yeah.
this song feels so short. I wish it was a little longer. But yeah, that's my opinion. I love this song so much, though. It's one of my favorites.
Okay. Yeah.
One next song on the album, Australia, side one closer.
Yeah. So interesting. We have this war theme, then we get to Australia, which the song felt like a uh, advertisement to go to Australia. I don't quite get the why this is in here. It's what this has to do with the theme of the album, but it was very interesting because it definitely felt like, oh, we need to go to Australia and surf, I think, or something like that, if I remember
Sure,
right.
back in the USA, like
Yeah.
the Surfing USA reference.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. So it's a very interesting song. I do like the chorus, Australia, and then there's like these sha la la in the background, if I remember right, or something, or the during
Mhm.
the chorus, like sha la la, and I don't know, I always like that kind of stuff. But yeah, the chorus really good. Again, love the horns, and then at the end, well, this the only criticism I have of the song is it felt like it went on too long. I think maybe this is the longest song. It seemed like it was a
It
long
is.
song. Yeah, it seemed like the song. Because I remember I was listening to it and going, "Oh, the song's over," and then realizing there's like 2 more minutes or something. I was like, "There's 2 more minutes of the song." I felt like we got to the end, and I think it's just a kind of a jam, somewhat at the end. But the guitar is really good. I say it's some of the best guitar work. So it's like I like the guitar, but yet it felt like it dragged on a little too long.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I really love this song. This is, believe it or not, this is my favorite Kinks song
I was gonna
because
say I know you like this one, yeah.
I love this song. I get the criticism though. When I first heard this song, I was with you on that. I'm like, it's
Okay.
a little too long, but I've grown to appreciate the jamming at the end, and
Hmm.
I love the theme though. It's like I love the my biggest thing, I love the reference to these Surfing USA by the Beach Boys. It's like,
Hmm.
they'll surf like they do in the USA. They'll fly to above them on the holiday. Uh, I love the chorus. It's a one. It's a great song. It's at least in my top 5 favorite Kinks songs. It's so good.
Okay.
Side 2 opens up with Shangri-La.
Yeah, talking about top song, Shangri-La is like that's in my top 10 probably right now. Favorite Kinks song. I thought this song was fantastic. This is a great use of the song changes a couple times, and I loved it. And I love songs that do that. Like I think of like, Band on the Run, Bohemian Rhapsody, Stairway to Heaven. Not saying it's quite at that level, but yet it has that dynamic to it that I really like. It starts off with acoustic guitar, and I thought, I was like, I'm listening, going, wow, this is cool. They're doing acoustic song, and so I'm listening, going, man, I love this acoustic guitar. I'm loving how this is going, and then it'll revs up into a rock song after a little while and gets upbeat, and I'm like, oh, all right, okay, cool, I like that. We're crescendoing into a rock song, and I can't remember, but I feel like it changes again somewhere in there, but it's fantastic. Like, I thought it was a fantastic song. Love the harmonies in there. Love the overall melody. I thought was fantastic. I was blown away. Like I was like, wow, I never, this song I never heard about, never knew nothing about. And I listened to it and I was like, oh, this is like one of the best King songs I've ever heard.
It's one of their best deep cuts, I will say.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
The magic. It's the magic of getting in, it's the magic of going into Kinks albums is finding these hidden gems along the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad you like this song. This is another masterpiece.
Yeah.
The way it starts out so slow, like you said, and it's like, now that you found, because like the Paradise.
What is a strong Shangri-La? It's like sit by the fire in your Shangri-La. So I'm like, is this something he's wearing?
I'm not familiar with what a Shangri-La
Yeah,
is.
what's a Shangri-La? I don't know, but it's like,
Probably Scott knows because ELO does a song too called Shangri-La. So,
yeah, I just remember them talking about sitting by the fire wearing your or something like that, and I was like, okay, what's going on?
yeah, I love the lyric. Now that you found your paradise, because that's supposed to be like Australia. That's the paradise. It's like,
Right.
now that you found your paradise, this is your kingdom to command. Can you go outside and polish your car, or sit by the fire in your Shangri-La?
Mm-hmm.
But then, like you said, when it gets builds up, Shangri-La, Shangri-La, it's so good.
Yeah.
If there's one song from this album that should have been a bigger hit than it, I think this, if I'm correct, I think this was a single.
Oh, really?
It got nowhere. I'll look it up, but I think this song is probably one of their most underrated songs. If you ask me, it's up there in top like 20 underrated Kinks songs that should be paid attention more.
Yeah.
I'm correct. This was a single, but it failed. It failed
Okay.
drastically too. It went nowhere.
Didn't go anywhere.
Yeah. And yeah, it's a shame too because it's a great song. I think the only song that really went anywhere was Victoria. That was like the only song that kind of did something. And even then, it didn't really do much either.
Well, I never heard of any of these songs before. Yeah, they're definitely all new.
Oh yeah, in the U.S. Oh yeah, don't even get me started. Like all 3 of the singles failed in the U.S.
Yeah, didn't do anything, did it?
It's Britishy, and
yeah,
they still weren't touring. This is their last year of not touring. So
right.
they're still in a low in their career in terms of that. Yeah, I think this is a masterpiece. I love it so much. Next song on the album, Mr. Churchill Said. That's the guy I was talking about before because
yeah,
he was a big role in the UK with World War II.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you see Churchill. Of course, you think Winston Churchill, obviously, and that's what the song's talking about. Is of course he was the leader during World War II for England. He was the prime minister, I guess, and probably the best. I mean, in my opinion, their greatest prime minister they've ever had. I mean, I'm a big fan of Churchill myself. Like there's a museum about 3 hours from me in Missouri. At this private college, they have a museum there, and I went there a couple years ago. It's a really good museum. Uh, and the reason why there's a museum is because Churchill came to that college in Missouri and gave this famous Iron Curtain speech, which is like one of his most famous speeches after World War II about the Russia communists being the Iron Curtain in Europe. Anyways, and kind of basically, you know, telling people, well, watch out for Russia. Russia's the next big evil, which he was correct on. And everybody's like, what are you talking about? And anyway, so I haven't read a biography yet. I want to read a biography at some point on Churchill because I find him a very fascinating individual. Anyways, saying all that, I really like the song because of that. I guess and they quote Churchill in the song, like definitely some good Churchill quotes in here. I think it's like fight them on land, fight them in the seas. We're gonna fight them, whatever.
We're gonna fight the bloody battle till the end, to the very end.
Yeah, because he had this great speech about never giving up, kind of, or whatever, never surrender. I think he said never surrender, which was a great speech that he did. So I like that. I like that they quoted Churchill. I don't know what they're saying about Churchill. I hope they're saying something positive because I guess I'm very positive on Churchill because I think he really helped the war and he helped lead England through that war really well. He almost doesn't even sing so much. He kind of almost talks a little bit in some of this stuff, but I thought it worked really nice. I was going to say this on some of these songs. I felt vocally it didn't sound like Ray Davis. Like it's like he put on a different voice for the album. Because in fact, I should have said this in the very first song. The very first thing I noticed in the first couple of songs was like, I was like, is this Ray Davis singing? Like sounds like he's doing a character or doing a different voice or something. It doesn't sound. Some of these do sound like Ray Davis, but some of these I'm like, huh. It's like this is interesting vocally. It's just very interesting what he's doing on some of these songs. But I'm gonna say I like the guitar on here, and also I like the backing vocals. I always love a good backing vocal. And I thought they did a good job. So yeah, I thought it was a really good song.
I think this song's really good. I love the part when it changes up. It was like bum 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 bum. And there's a church was said. I forgot the lyrics. It's like, but then there's a church was said. It just gets really fast all of a sudden, and it's at the end. It's like it's such a great song, and it's another amazing song. There's no weak songs on this song on this album either. This is like the Kinks firing at all four cylinders, and I forgot the name of the new bassist player, but I think he's doing a really good job.
I thought he did a good job. Yeah.
Peter Quaif's place.
Yeah.
Next song on the album, She Bought a Hat Like Princess Maria.
Okay, this is the strangest title I felt like for a song. And I feel like actually, to be honest, like the last two albums at least, maybe even before, the Kinks have very interesting titles for songs where you read it and you go, this is a weird, what's this song about? Because and this is definitely a weird, She Bought a Hat like who names their song that? Like it's too wordy. And who's Princess Marina? I don't know. Is that a real person?
I don't know, honestly. Me neither.
I've never heard of Princess Marina, but I found like the song. It's interesting, kind of trying to figure out what the song is about. But it sounds like it's about this maybe family that's not that rich, but they're like this lady is like almost like she's proud though because she has a hat that looks like Princess Marina, like who's some of course obviously royalty, rich royalty. And I remember the guy talking about like, I don't have a Bentley, but I have a secondhand Ford or something. So it's like he doesn't have a rich car. He has like maybe a middle class car, but and then I think at some point he says that he has a hat that looks like Prince something. I can't remember now, but so he's like talking about how he has a hat and all this, and I don't know. It was a very weird song in that sense, and I don't know. I wasn't a fan of the ending. It was kind of went.
Oh yeah, it gets a little goofy at the end.
Yes, I was gonna say goofy. I don't know if that's the right word, but you said it. That's what I was thinking in my mind. I don't know. It speeds up or something, and it just has this Monty Python goofiness to it that I wasn't a fan of personally. It was like,
That's fair, right? That's fair. I personally like that part. I do
Okay.
like the beginning part more, like when it's like kind of like more Baroque pop.
Yes, yes, yes. More broke.
It reminds me of the last album, the Village Green
Hmm.
Preservation Society. It reminds me of that album more
Yeah.
than it does this album. And I get where you're coming from though. But yeah, I still think the song's really good though. Next song on the album, pretty slow song, "Young and Innocent Days."
Yeah, I would say this is my least favorite song on the album, but yet it has some good moments. It's just a little slow. You said that, yeah. I found it like a little slow compared to the rest of the album, so I was like, eh. But it has some good harmonies in there. I do like the harmonies in there, and overall, the whole message of the song, I think, was like kind of this like, oh, remember back when you're younger and you're more innocent, and like how good the old days were, which is something you do, when you get older. And I think of this probably if they're talking about, going through World War II, I can kind of see that, kind of reminiscing about the good old days, maybe, or when you were younger, and maybe times weren't so hard, and now times are maybe are harder. Um, I think about that, like in my life, there's like, there's pre 9/11, and then there's post 9/11. That's like how my life has been. Like I can look at, go, oh, remember what it was like before 9/11. Like it was just different times. And I almost would say that before, like, the COVID virus. Like I felt like, oh, remember before that happened, like life was easier. And it's like, since that happened, life has gotten harder, I don't know. So I do like that idea behind it. But like I said, I didn't like how slow it was.
Yeah, I love the message behind it, but I will say I do agree with you. This is the weakest song on the album,
Okay.
but I do still really like it. But yeah, I do agree. It's probably the. I mean, you have 12 amazing songs, so there has to be one song that like probably no matter what, there's always to be that one song that's like, this is my least favorite. But
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
even my favorite album, The Who Sell Out, has like a song I'm like, yeah, this is my least favorite. So every album has your least favorite. So this just happens to be my least favorite as well. Next song on the album, Nothing to Say.
Yeah, so this was a decent song. I thought it was okay. I'm trying to think of what the song's about. But he's talking to somebody, I guess, and they have nothing to say, or he has nothing. I now forget, but it was interesting. I think lyrically, my favorite part is the call. There's a call and response where he's singing, and then the background like kind of responds to it. I'm forgetting what that was, but I just remember I wrote that down. That I like. I always love a good call and response in a song. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm looking at the
Okay.
lyrics now. How is your? I don't know what to say. Is like nothing to say.
Nothing to say. Yeah.
How's Auntie Mabel? Nothing to
To say.
say.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that a lot. The respond, nothing to say to whatever he's saying. Yeah.
How
And
is your life insurance? Nothing to say. How is your trade union? Nothing to say. How is your independence? Nothing to say. She's like, I know you're talking about. It's great.
yeah, I don't know. It must be, I'm sure there's deeper meaning to the song than I'm even getting out of it, because it's an interesting, nothing to say, somebody that either doesn't have an opinion, or, yeah. So I'm
I'm
sure
not. I don't know the meaning either.
I have to look it up, but I'm sure there's something to it. But I like the backing vocals overall. I thought were really good.
I agree. This is a real. I think this is a really fun song, especially that part, the call and response parts.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing to say.
Nothing to say.
I love like this. Probably his most drastic with the vocals. Remember walking with you by my side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You were my papa. I was your pride.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
I've got children and I'm going gray. No time for talking. I've got nothing to say. That's really another song I really like. I love his track. I love how different his vocals are. It's like
Yeah, very different.
last song on the album, the title track.
Now we finally
Arthur,
get to Arthur,
Arthur, Arthur.
which I don't know who Arthur is. I was like coming, I'm like, oh, okay, now we're getting to the main character of the story or something. I don't know what does it. They're talking about a guy named Arthur. They're like, the song is about Arthur. I don't know exactly who he is, but it's a very weird. I thought lyrically, I was watching it like I was looking at lyrics trying to figure out like, okay, what's the significance of Arthur, and I couldn't figure out what was going on here. He was. It felt like he. I'm trying to remember the lyrics, but it felt like because there's something in the chorus about like, oh, like life isn't fair or they're equal. There's something about equality. So I don't know if it's a song about people not being equal or something like that, some equality problems. I don't know. Arthur seems to be complaining, I guess, in the song about equality, and like it's like, don't cry, Arthur. And so I'm like, why is he crying? What's wrong with Arthur? I guess I never got what exactly is going on with this guy because they're singing about this Arthur guy and like life's not fair or something. I don't know. So I didn't quite get what was going on here. And so to me, it was a weird song to end the album on, I guess, to me, because I was like, I wish I had something more. It felt like it felt like there's a country-ish to the guitar sound. Like I
Mhm.
thought it had like a country guitar sound to it too, which I thought was interesting. Like it was different than anything else in it. But I'd like to hear your thoughts. What was going on here?
So basically, it's like going through the like it's like you said, it's like the story of Arthur and uh what's interesting about this song is that it's like the last song on the album and it's the only song that has Dave Davies on lead vocals. So we heard him do lead vocals on the previous album, which was Wicked Annabella. We both like that song. And do you like? I'm not sure if you like this song or not. Is this a song you like or?
I said it was okay. That's what I put down in my notes. Like it was okay, but
Mhm. I
not
think
great,
this is
not bad. It's just okay.
I think it's a pretty fun song. I love the. It's like Arthur was born just a plain simple man in a plain simple working class position. Though
Mhm.
the world was hard and its ways were sad, he was young and he had so much ambition. It's like basically just the story about Arthur. It's like nothing really too deep about it. I
Okay.
do like the part where it's like ba 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 at the Shangri-La. It's just like I love the Shangri-La reference.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how's your wife and your Shangri-La? It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's all going back full circle. Like
Yeah.
Arthur was the one who had to move to Australia
Okay.
with his Shangri-La in paradise.
Uh-huh.
He's I think he's the one who's like the one who has nothing to say.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Okay.
I really like the story of this album, and I just looked it up. John Dalton was the name of the new bassist. But I personally really like this song. But I get where you're coming from, though. It's when I first heard it, I wasn't as big into it either. This is one of those songs that yeah, they gotta let grow on you. I feel like this and the Village Green album are albums you gotta let grow on you the most.
Right, right. Yeah.
Like once you get it, you really get it.
Hmm.
But yeah. What is your five favorite songs on the album? Just curious.
All right. Number 5, I have Mr. Churchill Says. Number 4, I have Driving. Number 3, I have Some Mother's Son. Number 2, I have Victoria. And then number 1 is Shangri-La.
Uh, like I said, I don't really have the
You don't
top
have a
five.
top?
It's just again, I just like every song on this album. I'll just pick five songs I really liked. Victoria is one of them. Really like Brainwash. That's two. Shangri La definitely a third.
Okay.
Like I said, no order. Arthur is another song I really liked, and my favorite song on this album is Australia. So that's gonna be like the only like definitive answer. What would you rate the sound from 1 through 10?
Well, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, like the last album. I think it was very similar to the last album in the sense that I thought the top 5 I thought were really strong. Like I really liked the top 5 in both albums. And then there's some, okay songs in there, which I thought, oh, these are pretty decent. And then there's a couple at the end where I was like, I wasn't as big of a fan of some of the, songs at the end. Like this song, in fact, like the last album, this album actually, I think it started off very strong with the first 4 songs. I said that when I talked about the Village Green Preservation Society. I kind of the same way in this album where I thought the very first 4 songs I thought were like the first 4 songs were in my top 5. I believe, or no, not all 4. No, Yes or No Sir didn't make it into my top 5, but I really liked Yes or No Sir as well. So there's 6 really strong songs here. I would say that could have made it. That would be in the top. But anyway, so I thought those first 4, man, really good. And then there's a couple okay stuff, and then it gets really good again, and then it kind of tapers off at the end where it's not as strong for me of an ending. I don't know, and I think there's some similarities to the last album. Uh, like I said, very strong album, I think. And I love the concept. I guess I think what I like about this so much is I really got into the concept or the theme of the war theme, and I really got into the lyrics of this album more than any other album so far. Like, I don't always pay attention to the lyrics, but this one I definitely was like, okay, I'm gonna really pay attention to the story of this album, which I thought was a good addition to the album, I guess.
Cool. I'm gonna go with my specialty rating when it's like my top 25 albums. I'm gonna give it an 11 out of 10. This album's very important to me. I love this album so much. One of my all-time favorite albums. This is like definitely my favorite album of 1969. It's so good. It's definitely up there as one of the greatest albums of 1969. Of course, the Tommy's definitely up there. Tommy,
Yeah, yeah.
for me, that is uh, just great albums overall. Uh, I don't know. It's just a great way to close out the decade. I will say that. No, they started out okay with the Kinks album, but the debut, but then they closed out this decade with such a bang. Makes you go like, oh, can't wait to go into the next decade.
Right, yeah.
You have anything you want to add or say before we close out?
No, I think I kind of said my overall thoughts on that. Yeah, I like the overall theme of it, and yeah, I think two very solid albums right in a row.
Yeah, and I think you said you enjoyed I think from like King Controversy up until now, you've been enjoying them.
Yeah, I've been giving 8s to 9s, I guess. Yeah.
Well, stay tuned, guys. We're going to be reviewing Lola versus Power Man. I think so. Like the latest Wednesday, because going away for the weekend. I think you're off Wednesday, so that'll be a good time to do
Yeah,
that.
I'm off.
So we'll be doing Lola versus Power Man Part 1. There's no Part 2, sadly, so we'll be tackling the first part only.
That's interesting because these are probably the 3 biggest albums in their discography.
That's like usually the fan favorites.
So this would be the last of kind of the big albums, kind of in a sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in the U.S., they have 5 big albums that some people actually say it's better than these albums.
Okay.
Who knows? Maybe you might agree to that. Like, well, you've surprised me with a bunch of bands like Genesis. You said you really like Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. And
yeah.
So music's subjective. It's very like there's no like definitive answer for music. So I'm super excited to talk about that, about those albums, because I know a lot of people consider that to be some of the Kinks' best music. It's in the late 70s, early 80s. But like I said, what I gotta say is thank you guys for watching this video. Hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys in the next one.